Hi. Today is a lot better than the last few days. I know a few people watched my video now, and I keep getting asked the same question. How did this happen to you? And what I'm learning is that this can happen to just about anyone. And I know that's a cliche, I know that we say that all the time, but what happened to me at the perfect time that it could have happened. I was going through a divorce that was really messy and really ugly, and I had ended a relationship with someone who I've known since I was really young, who was my best friend, who showed me what it was to really like myself and to really care about myself, and made me feel like it was okay to be exactly who I was. And it just kind of fell apart over time. No one's really to blame, but I wanted more. I was ready for something serious, and he wasn't. And I drove him away. And at that point, I had found out who I really was. I had a job that I loved at Central Library, a job that made me feel alive whenever I went there. A job I hope one day maybe I can get back once I'm back on my feet. Anyways, how can this happen to me? Like I said, it was a perfect storm. I was sad. I wanted someone to love me. I wanted to push all of these feelings of love and just this need to be cared about and really truly loved onto someone else. And I was in this amazing place. I listened to music loud in the car all the time, and I smiled constantly. And I knew who I was. I talked about the way that the world made me feel all the time. I was open. I was bubbly. I was the smile that you saw when you came into Central Library. They always had me on the front desk early in the morning because my boss used to say that we need a smile up there today, Christina. And so that was who I was. And I met this person who made me believe that's who he was too, that he knew himself, that he knew about his past and about his history and about all these things that he had struggled with and dealt with and all these demons that he knew about. So I thought, he knows who he is. He knows that he's made mistakes. I know who I am. I know I've made mistakes. I know that, I've had my own issues, and I overcame them. I found out who I really was and what I wanted to be. And now, looking back, he never showed me who he really was. I never saw it. I didn't see it until the first time he got, verbally abusive. And there was these lines that I made in the sand that, well, he's only directed his anger at other people, never at me. He won't do that to me. If he does it to me, I'll leave. But by the first time he did that, I was so emotionally invested in this person. I was so convinced that this was just a dark side of him, that with time and if we worked together and I sacrificed enough, that he would get better. And I found out that slowly I was sacrificing more and more and more and more and more and more until I was nothing but a shell of who I used to be. I used to be independent. I used to be domineering. I mean, like I said before, my friends called me Tiny Fury and Stina, and they knew that nobody messed with me. Nobody hits Christina. Nobody yells at her, because she's not going to stand for it. She's not going to take it. She's not going to put up with that shit. But I did. And by the time that the abuse got physical, I was so emotionally invested and so convinced that all of these things that were happening were my fault. Because if I weren't so independent and I weren't so, stern-headed and I didn't fight against giving up the things that I love that make me selfish, then I'd be a better partner, that he wouldn't get mad. But over time, what I had to realize is that that's not love. That's putting yourself in a box so that someone else's life is better. That's putting yourself and your needs second to someone else. I cared about his happiness before anything else in my life. I quit my job. I quit social media. I didn't talk to friends for a year. People thought I might be dead because nobody knew anything. And, you know, the few times that I did leave and I reached out to my friends and I went back, like, it hurt them. It pissed them off because they were all terrified. Like, we're not going to hear from her. We're going to hear from someone telling us that she's dead or that she is so close to death that she's not going to make it. And that's probably the truth. You know, I mean, the worst I got was my head slammed in a wall, my hair ripped out, bruises all over my face and my neck. But I think what's worse than that is the physical abuse is nothing compared to the emotional trauma. I mean, for the longest time since I've been out, it's hard for me to leave the house because I'm like, I don't know how to do that by myself. I don't know how to be my own person anymore. I don't know how to stand up. I don't know how to say I can make it through this day without another person telling me who I am. And it's like literally starting all over from infancy. And it's also being scared that all these steps that you're taking to better yourself are taking you further and further away from this person who you loved, who you thought loved you. But in reality, nothing that went on in that relationship was an expression of love. It was control, manipulation, and deceit. Because I didn't see who he really was truly until Thanksgiving of last year when he choked me at my grandmother's house, because he would constantly give me hickeys and I hated them because I hated being marked like that. And my stepdad made a comment at Thanksgiving, well, she must be wearing a scarf since she's got all those hickeys. And so he held me down against the couch, grabbed me by the throat, and decided right then and there to give me a hickey. And up until that point, that was the worst thing that had ever happened to me. To have somebody put their hands around your throat to the point of leaving bruises just while you're on the other side of a couch. Like, the couch was here and my family was right behind it having Thanksgiving dinner. And nobody had any idea because I didn't tell them, because I got up, I went to the bathroom, I cried. And then I walked out the door after him like a puppy, got in the car, and we went home. And he didn't even say sorry, because sorry meant that he did something wrong, and he didn't, because it was an accident. He didn't mean to leave bruises on me. And any time that I brought that up in an argument or anything, saying, how could you do that to me, and that's not what love is, he would just rip me apart and call me a cunt and a whore and a bitch and a slut, and tell me that how can I hold all of these things against him, and we just need to move on. But it was like, even when it was good, I was just waiting for it to get bad again, waiting for it to fall apart, waiting for it almost to get bad enough that I had to leave. And in the last few weeks, you know, I mean, he had been physically abusive before, but he was getting more and more angry with me. And it was almost like I was just waiting for the shit to hit the fan. Because if it didn't, I would come back. And that's so fucked up to think about, to say out loud that I was waiting for this horrible storm just so I wouldn't go back. You know, I think, what does that say about me? What does that mean about who I am? But I realized for the last 2 years I haven't been me. I haven't been myself. I haven't opened myself up and allowed myself to be who I really am because I was living for another human being. Every action that I took was controlled. I didn't shower myself. I didn't feed myself. I didn't decide what I was going to wear. There were things that even just seeing my high heels would send him into a freaking rage because I just happened to wear the heels out whenever I saw one of my friends. He smashed my iPhone and this was one night, so that way he wouldn't smash my face. You can't really see it, so it's all messed up, but it's also bent in a U shape. It's in the case right now. But I was in the car at his work because I just wanted to fix things, and he got so mad that he slammed my car door, like he was like on it, like just losing his shit. Just, he got this grit in his teeth when he talked, when he was mad, just like, I can't fucking stand you. That was terrifying. And he lunged in at the car, and instead of hitting me, he hit my steering wheel. He grabbed my phone out of my lap, hitting me in the stomach when he did it, and he threw my phone on the concrete and into a puddle. This was the aftermath. Bent in half. And that could have been my face that time. And he smashed the TV. He put holes in the wall. He broke mirrors. Told me to kill myself. But he also told me he loved me every second of every day. And that's how I let it happen. Slowly. Over time, when he chipped pieces of me away. And it's going to take me a really long time to build those pieces back. But that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm reaching out, because I know I'm not alone anymore. And I'll never be alone again. So thank you. All of you. I couldn't do this without any of you. You're all my friends. You're my family. Thank you.